Well, the artwork of the ancient Minoans, the first major civilization in Europe. It's a fascinating Knossos, which is the ancient city of the Minoans. It is estimated that up to 100,000 people live here in these very grounds. And right here of men who are painted in this very much darker reddish brown color as opposed to most of the women that are always in Crete, in the city of Heraklion, the modern day city. So there's a little bit of shaky cell phone reception here, but hopefully it'll stay steady as I'm in the high ground of the Palace of Knossos. Now this is not really a palace. That is the popular name that was given. Palace would denote that some monarch lived here. Of course, there is the myth of the legendary King Minos, who the Minoans are named after in the modern day. But no one knows if there was an actual monarch for the Minoans. No one knows if King Minos was even real, or if he was just an amalgamation of a few different rulers, or maybe he was a ruler, or maybe not that important. Who knows? The important thing is that right now we are seeing a different set of buildings that were used for different purposes, that were part of a larger urban complex here in Crete, starting all the way about 1,900 years ago. Oh, sorry, 1,900 BC. So that is more than 3,000 years ago, almost 4,000 years ago. And the Minoans date back as far as 3,500 BC. Yeesh. That's 5,500 years. That's crazy long. So welcome everyone. Let me know if you see me and hear me. Um, there's a lot of tourists here. The entrance, I spent 19 euro buying the ticket from the official website, which is Knossos dash site .gr, I think is the site I bought it in. They don't make these sites very easy to remember. So for some reason, download speeds here are very low, but upload speeds are okay. So it might be the case that I'm not seeing comments. So I'll continue walking around. Let me know if you heard me say this. Write down in the comments, and I'll continue walking around. I just might not be able to see comments in real time due to the very low download speeds. But lots and lots of people here. This is the most crowded archaeological site I've been to aside from the Acropolis in Athens. Thank you so much, Kay, for letting me know. Let me know if I'm live on YouTube. Lorraine says, I heard everything about the comments. Okay, thank you. So if you could let me know if I'm live on YouTube, and then I'll continue walking around. So let's see what this is all about. We got a sign over here. So right here it says it's the West Magazines. Looking down, you can see the start of a corridor that joins 18 long and narrow store rooms, covering an area of 1,300 square meters. In the floor of both of the storerooms in the corridor, there are over 93 rectangular cysts called casellas. From it, it appears to be keeping safe precious equipment in vases. Ooh, interesting. At different points in the magazines, clay tablets light up in Linear B script, which came later after Linear A. We'll talk a little bit about that soon. And then Cretan hieroglyphics. Okay, so it appears that I'm live on both YouTube and Facebook. I just not seeing comments in real time, but that's okay. I'm going to continue on. So right there, they mentioned, I'm going to show you more of these ruins, but I want to give you an insight into ancient Minoan history. Minoans are known as the first major civilization of Europe, dating back all the way to 3,500 BC. But there's been settlements here from Neolithic times all the way to 6,500 BC or so. Now, I am not a professional in history, nor am I an official guide, so I'm just saying things that I've learned. The Minoans also, it's not clear what the leadership was per se. A lot of people speculate that the Minoans was actually a matriarchal society, because as we saw those two frescoes earlier in the beginning of this live stream, we noticed that the men were painted very brown, very dark colored. That's almost ubiquitous in Minoan artwork. Men are always very dark colored, and we're going to see very soon a fresco of a woman, very pale color. It's because the men spend most of the time outside, working the fields, and then out seafaring, and then in certain moments battling against nearby city-states. They had a very close relationship with the Aegean Sea, the Cyclades people, and the Minoans actually held control over the Cyclades for a long time, until a massive volcano exploded in Santorini, Greece, consumed the Minoan civilization in tsunami, destroyed places like these, and then they had a few ups and downs until the Mycenaeans came in and took over. The Linear B script that we learned about, most likely they're referring to is the Mycenaean script, because the Minoans had first hieroglyphics, making them the first official civilization in Europe, at least to many people. But they also had Linear B script, which was a writing system. That's still Linear A script that still hasn't been deciphered yet. So people don't know fully about Minoan culture and history and commerce yet. Maybe we'll find examples of Linear A and B and the hieroglyphics. Ooh. Oh, here we have the vases. They're kind of out of view.
Olive oil storages. Olive oil storages. They put olive oil. They put olive oil in these big vessels, and these pots on the left and right side of each corridor, not inside these houses. These houses they needed to cool down the temperature in the corridors and also to collect olive oil probably after any time.
Wow. So the guide, you have to be a licensed guide in order to give public tours here, or private tours. And she briefly mentioned that they were making olive oil, and those vases that we saw down there were olive oil storages. It's fascinating to see how olive oil has been so extremely important to these areas of ancient Greece and ancient Rome, and to an extension also parts of ancient Spain. It's fascinating how important olive oil is. And of course, I assume it had a big part also in North Africa. Now, there's a very strange mountain over here, which I'm very curious about. I don't know too much about this mountain, but this mountain just looks so perfectly shaped. If you see it from Heraklion Port, it kind of looks like a pyramid. It's so weird. I gotta learn about this mountain. Sometimes I look at certain mountains in these ancient city sites, and I've seen a few of them. They're just so well shaped. Veronique says the chat in YouTube is not working, but you are live. Okay, cool, cool, cool. That's good. I'm live. All right, everyone. This is a chatless live stream, so we're just gonna have a calmer walk through here. Enjoy the sights. I don't know the history too deeply here because it's pretty. It's A, there's a lot of speculation, and then B, it's a lot of information too, from what they do know. I love the loud sound of these cicadas. Lots of tour groups here. It's fascinating to see the old pavement, the old flooring of the city of Knossos, the palace of Knossos. Right there, there's the Coludus. There's these cylindrical pits that go into the ground. No one knows exactly what they were for, though a lot of people speculate it was for grain storage, or it could have been water wells as well. Though sometimes these signs are a bit outdated, so who knows if they actually come up with a little bit more conclusive evidence. That's one thing you do have to watch out for when you're in these ancient sites, is that there are signs, and some ancient sites are very good at providing very elaborate signs where they tell you everything about the plaques, where they tell you everything about the information of what you're looking at. But what you do have to know is this is ongoing archaeological site. People still trying to figure out what everything is. There's still more information to learn about. There's still entire language to decipher. So who knows what new information has come out since writing a lot of those plaques. Imagine the flooring in your home 5,000 years from now, in the year 7000 AD. Imagine the only thing that survives from your house is the floor. That's mind-blowing to me. Like in Puerto Rico, my grandmother had this floor that was, it's very typical in Puerto Rico. You kind of see the stones that were used, but it's very kind of flat. It looks like marble, but it's made with a bunch of different stones. And I could just imagine that floor just being the only thing that survives in Puerto Rico 7000 AD or something like that. Let's continue exploring. It would be odd if the writing is actually just decoration. No, so they use hieroglyphics first. Most likely they were inspired by the ancient Egyptians who they started trading with fairly early in their history. And then they developed their own script, which is Linear A. That's the name that was given to it. But Linear A script hasn't really been deciphered. I think Linear B has, and that's ancient Mycenaean. All right, let's see what's inside here. I'm so curious. Ooh, are we gonna see the frescoes? Here we're seeing the frescoes of the ancient Minoan women.
Please move this way. This way, you have seen it, right? Let us explain a few things about it.
Surviving frescoes from ancient Minoan women who were always depicted very pale as opposed to the men who were they're always depicted very tan. Sorry, excuse me. Wow, I love the drawing style of the ancient Minoans. Looks so cool. Reminds me of a graphic novel. So those were the frescoes of the women, which we are one of the most popular images of the Minoans. And they are rumored to be either at least elites, but could all even be matriarchs, or could even be the rulers of. Let me know if you still see me and hear me. Awesome, Kate, thank you. So this is the throne room. Frances, ¿cómo estás? Frances is writing in Spanish. I'm going to say in Spanish first. En la transición del periodo prehistórico a la historia se dio la civilización de los Minoas. Estaban a una leyenda conocido como el Minotauro. So Francis, gracias Francis, ojalá todo está bien en Puerto Rico. So Francis is saying the ancient Minoan civilization was the key between the prehistory and what would later become ancient civilization, and that this area, this land, was also the birthplace of the legend of the Minotaur. And there's a huge line for this throne room. Crazy line. Ooh, another vase down there. Look at that. Hey, Michelle, welcome. Hello, Alexander. Nice to see you here. Welcome, everyone. I multi-stream to both YouTube and Facebook. Seems like YouTube chat is not working due to the poor cell phone reception here. John says, thank you for your trek. Hey, John, my pleasure. Thank you for tuning in. All right, here we're going to see some more impressive ruins. Let's check this out. Whoa. Hey, why is this section closed? So, of course, there were some parts that were restored and colored. The color we're seeing should not be the original color. Francis dices, las tijas revelan que viendan vino. So Francis is referring to that they used to drink wine, and you're enjoying my trip. You've always wanted to come. Francis, ojalá tú puedas venir. Es relativamente fácil viajar desde Atenas. Vale la pena ir a la isla de Creta. Lo sugiero, es precioso. So Francis, I told Francis, it's fairly easy to come to Crete from Athens, and it is beautiful. I highly recommend it. John, please refrain from writing in quotes, but I do appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your enthusiasm. This is the central court, which is an architectural element common to the Minoan palaces. The court connects the different wings with one another. There was also direct access from the outside palace. Interesting. I think seeing this Greece, the ones I also shown in Rome, in Italy, these each are all, they are just a plain gray marble or stone, but they were elaborately painted, elaborately colored.
immagini che se questi così hanno tipo tantissimi anni e fino vivono. Io non mi appoggerei troppo, Andrea. È attaccato con lo scudo.
Era dispiaciuto del fatto che lei avesse
Francis is saying that you've always wanted to come to this island of Crete and that the Minoans predate the Mycenaeans. Yeah. Sí, eso sí es correcto. Los Minoas son antes los mesinos. Los Minoas, ellos ayudaron a Mycenae a crecer. So the Minoans actually helped ancient Mycenae grow. They held control over it. Wow, this palace was huge. Look how deep this is. We're seeing one, two, three, four, potentially 4 to 5 stories tall. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
poi sotto c'è la data Taranto.
So Francia dice que antes había una escultura de un toro, que es el símbolo principal de los Minoans. I'm not sure how to say Minoan in Spanish. But Francis says there used to be a huge sculpture of a bull, which was the main symbol of the Minoans. Yes, the Minoans did worship the bull, which is fascinating. Because if you learn Christian lore, they warn against worshiping a bull in Christian lore, which is to me very fascinating. To Christian lore and mythology, worshiping the bull is worshiping the devil, akin to it, which is fascinating to see that the Minoans, the main symbol was the bull. So there's a fire escape plan. Interesting. I wonder if these areas are susceptible to fire. All right, let's go downstairs. This is beautiful. I'm in love. Wow. All right, now we're starting to see the bull imagery that the Minoans are famous for. Alexander is letting me know how you translate Minoans in Spanish. Minoitas, Minoitas. All right, thank you so much. Minoans, Minoitas. Alexander says any minotaurs in sight. Well, I think what we're seeing is a bull. I'm not sure if this is a minotaur. You can't see the other half of it. Jan says red columns. Yeah, this is the famous photo that people take here in Knossos with the red columns. Right. Wow. This is part of the restoration, so the colors that you're seeing are not original. I'm not sure how original the fresco is. I'll be curious if they have a plaque that explains it. Thank you, John, for the 50 stars. Appreciate that. Francis dice que todo es de raíz neolítico, que columnas tan hermosas, me parece que fue descubierto por Arthur Evans del palacio con las ollas, un sistema de desagüe. So, Francis, gracias Francis por la información extra. Sir Arthur Evans was one of the main individuals who uncovered a lot of these grounds. The Minoan civilization was pretty much lost to history for millennia. Even it was lost to history to the ancient Greeks as we know it. The ancient Athenians didn't know too much about the Minoans. To them it was more myth than actual history. But this was uncovered by Sir Arthur Evans about 100 years ago. And he also found precious jewels. That's interesting. And Francis was also saying, Francis, who is my aunt and is an incredible historian as well, she is saying that the symbol of the bull dates back to Neolithic times. That's amazing. Wow. I think in a way that's why Christian mythology was trying to de-incentivize worshiping the bull, because they kind of wanted to move away from so-called primitive, say quote unquote. Of course, Neolithics had their own technology. They could have even had their own cities in some cases, but they wanted to move away from that old world into a new belief system. But I'm speculating, of course. Isabel says, this reminds me of the movie Time Bandits, which was filmed or takes place in ancient Mycenae. Oh, that's so interesting. I've never seen the movie Time Bandits. People keep referring to it. I'll be curious to see it now. So right here we have was called the Theater by Sir Arthur Evans. It reminded him of later theaters. It is a platform of rows and steps that form an angle. At the bottom of the steps is the end of a narrow raised road that divides a paved court. Evan believed that this court was used for ceremonies watched by standing viewers. Huh. That's fascinating. Wow, pretty big grounds, surprisingly. It's so cool. Still seeing that ancient floors. They're kept in excellent condition. I'm not sure if this is original too, or if this has been restored, but look, wow. The lines are still sharp, or, fluid here in the center. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the ancient Minoan city of Knossos, also known as the Palace of Knossos, here in Heraklion, Crete. Highly recommend visiting. It is a blast. You'll definitely learn a lot. It's fascinating seeing this ancient civilization. I hope you enjoyed this live video. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate Francis for giving extra information. Gracias. Francis, lo agradezco por habiendo extra información. And if you want to see more of my live videos, check it out. YouTube, Urbanist Exploring Cities. I'll be exploring more of Greece in the upcoming weeks. I've already been here for a month. I'm loving it, but there's still more to see here in Greece. And check out, I'll be posting a vlog soon of the Peloponnese. I'll most likely come out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'll make a premiere on YouTube, Urbanist Exploring Cities. For now, I'm going to seek cover in the shade. Maybe have another Freddo Espresso before I continue exploring this beautiful area of Heraklion. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. As they say in Greece, Yassa.